JJ.
Oh, hello, Andy. What's going on?
You can say what? What were you gonna say?
Oh, you'll find out in a sec.
Oh, well, I was gonna say, first of all, we have to release this in a timely mini breaking news episode, point 0.5, whatever number, 0.5. It's like a half mini situation. But if we don't talk about the current Garden Grove situation,
Oh, yeah,
it'll
no
be
one will know what
gone.
we're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, no one will know. Either they'll be like, well, this is already resolved and we don't care, or whatever. So uh yeah, wild. We live not super close to there, but close enough that we know people affected.
Yeah, people like me and my parents.
Yes.
I grew up within that evacuation zone, the house I grew up in. My parents are
Oh my
still
God.
there. And yeah, they were evacuated. When that order first went out. And then I guess earlier this week, the size of the evacuation zone was decreased by like a few blocks.
Right.
And that then put their house outside of the zone.
Oh, good. Okay.
And I was saying, but why go back? You're in this other place. Everything is good there. Why don't we just not go? And you just keep staying there and you can drive and you're not anywhere near the thing. Like, we want to go home. And I'm like, God damn it.
Yep.
There were police. Well, it's not like there's people running around looting your neighborhood. There's nothing to do. You could just, anyway, whatever. No one listens to me. But thank goodness it seems like no one has been hurt. Knock on wood.
No one's been hurt. Maybe they're able to control what's going on. It sounds less of an emergency than it was before.
So the thing that I read now is that the fire authority has lifted the evacuation order for everyone, basically, except for a very small area around the tank and the facility.
Yeah, for those that haven't read about this
in front of it is blocked.
News. For people that have not read about it in the news, there's a tank of plastic creating chemicals, I guess is what they are.
So they're heavy.
Explode.
I did like very little research, mostly to check my dad, who was saying stuff that I don't know if I believed all the way. Sorry, Dad.
Oh, poor Dad.
But they're heavier than air chemicals, right? So,
right,
that's bad. Firstly, if you guys don't know, like gases that are heavier than air mean they sink. Means if you inhale them, you can't really exhale them very well, and they kind of just sit there and then poison you to death, or various other respiratory problems. It's very bad news when you inhale these things. So, but the benefit of that is if it's just a leak, it goes down, and then it's kind of like along the ground. So as long as you're not near it, there's not really like a big chance, unless you're like crawling on the ground next to it or something.
Right.
But the concern, of course, with this was the tank is also highly pressurized, and they were worried they were not able to vent the pressure, and the pressure was increasing, and they were worried at a certain point about an explosion, which then obviously sends the gas every which way, including up, and that's really, really bad.
Not good.
No.
Not good.
But
and
credit
they
to
had this huge, crazy map that was scary to look at initially, but it sounds like, I don't know if it's due to their interference or just physics. There's a bunch of cracks in this thing and it's not going to explode.
Yeah, so it sounds like, they've dumped, like they said, millions of gallons of water on it over the course of days, trying to cool it down to prevent the heat in the from exploding or whatever.
Right.
But it sounds like they have the situation, they think, under control. And so then have now finally, after reducing the evacuation zone, have now eliminated it effectively.
Right.
So that's really good news for all those people, especially because like a lot of people were being displaced, and like, as far as I know, no one got help from like the city or the government or the county or anyone, like, trying to, maybe there was like some old people that cops helped or something, but like no one got paid. No one was put up in hotels. There was no, disaster relief
I
of any kind I'm aware of.
There was a high school nearby. I have family over in that area.
Turned into a shelter.
There was a high school that became like an area for that kind of stuff. I don't know how many people they were able to take. There was like 50,000 people evacuated.
Yeah, the bad part is like this area, this facility backs up onto a bunch of suburban home tracks and apartment buildings and stuff.
And a water
and a drainage
ditch
canal
that goes to the ocean. Yeah.
Yeah. So people were pretty worried about all that.
Yeah, I was worried about it. I don't even live over there.
Reasonably. And it sounds like it's under control now. So credit to the fire authority over there. Looks like they've done a very good job, consulting with experts and stuff and, being able to put this thing hopefully under control. So,
yeah. Props.
But that's not the only excitement that happened this weekend, Andy.
No, I mean, it did prevent us from going to see the Mario movie. We were going to go over there. So, man, we were so put out. Oh, geez.
Yeah.
Not really. No. So instead we saw the brand new film with a capital F, The Mandalorian and Grogu.
Yeah. We also saw The Mandalorian and Grogu, a feature-length movie.
Spoilers. Just saying it up front. Spoilers.
Yeah,
the rest of the pod, this mini half episode, we're just going to talk about this movie.
Andy, I'm going to start with a question to you. How much of The Mandalorian have you seen? Did you watch all of it?
I have. It is complete.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And the Book of Boba Fett, which I would call this movie. I would have called this movie The Mandalorian, the Book of Rotta, but I think that no one would have gone to see it.
I think it's questionable how many people are going to see it anyway.
Well, the complainosphere got a hold of this one.
I don't know. Well, I have things I'll say about what I did and didn't like about the movie, but I think the number one question that I have, Andy, is did this feel like 3 episodes of TV stitched together to you?
It felt like 2 long episodes of TV stitched together.
Okay. I see it.
Yeah.
I guess I felt like the little baby Grogu takes care of Mandalorian stuff was its own episode.
It just wasn't very long. I see why you came up with 3, but it was just not very long.
Yeah.
That section.
And so because of that, then I'm like, why did they make a movie instead of a TV show?
Well, it's been off the air for 3 years is the reason.
But they
3 years?
Some TV shows take 3. Some TV shows take 3 years. Looks at Stranger Things.
Yeah, how did that turn out, dude?
How did this movie turn out, dude?
Do we have different opinions of this?
I don't know. I'm just saying, Stranger Things didn't turn out so hot. I don't know that this movie was super hot.
I didn't dislike it. I thought it was just fine.
Yeah, I think just fine is where I'm coming down. Yeah. But I think I liked The Mandalorian quite a bit, and this was not as good as that.
Oh. It felt like a Mandalorian if they had called this The Book of Rotta and put it on Disney Plus, you'd have been like, that was all right.
Yeah, totally.
Just the same as the Book of Boba Fett.
I also felt like this was just all right, I left, I was like, I had a good time.
Yeah.
It was competently made. The CGI didn't make me want to die.
No, there was cool monsters in there.
Andy, did you know there's real stop motion animation in this movie?
I lost my shit when those 2 giant mechs were made in stop motion. I was like, this is the coolest fucking thing. I am so glad they did this. They should have done it for the whole movie.
Yeah. Actually, that would be extremely awesome if they had done that. Imagine a stop motion.
It would have been physically impossible.
Stop motion Rotta.
Oh my God, dude.
You're right. It would have been impossible. But
yeah,
I watched it and I was like, why does this look so weird? Did they cut half the frames? Why is the frame rate bad only here?
Yeah, just stop motion, bro. I sat up in my chair. I was so excited.
I saw it, and then afterwards, I'm like, what the hell is up with that? And I went and looked, and I'm like, oh, this is stop motion. My brain was just, because all this other CG is like, full effects, fancy, nice, whatever. And I was just not, my brain was not ready to comprehend that they randomly switched to stop motion for one fight scene.
It was awesome, dude. It was so cool.
It was super cool. It's like my brain was losing it the entire time because I'm like, why does it look so weird? And I found out it was stop motion afterwards. And I was like, oh, that's so cool. Like, why aren't they advertising that?
I don't know. I don't know. There's a lot I don't understand about how they made it and why they released it the way they did. But I think the internet freak out over every aspect of this movie, and
I just don't know what there is to freak out about. The movie is completely okay and fine at every level. Like, what is there to be mad about here?
Exactly.
I will say, one thing I actually think I'm actually pleased with, higher than I expected, is the soundtrack. I thought the soundtrack was really good.
Yeah, it was the same guy that did all the music for the show, and Katie, my spouse was like, "I didn't expect all this electric music," and I was like, you know what? I kind of dug it actually. Especially the crime gang got their own version of the Mandalorian music for the whole movie. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, and it's like synthy but rap kind of beats, and it was cool. And I think the thing I liked was that it was new and adventurous for Star Wars. They didn't just try to shoehorn John Williams in there.
Yes, exactly.
And yes, of course they're going to play the Mandalorian theme from the show that everyone knows. It's like good, of course they're going to use it. But they didn't also try to stick like a John Williams score in there or whatever. And so I think the movie benefited from that. Like, it was awesome. It felt after the fact, I was talking to someone and I was like, okay, they didn't try to put John Williams in there. I really liked what they did. But what if they had put the Indiana Jones soundtrack in there, though? Would it have been better?
Mm-hmm.
Which, of course, they would not do. But, like, very fun adventure movie, right? Like, that's kind of where it came down on it.
It was campy, I would say, in the way that old school 80s movies were campy. I think that they were going for a style of bringing this thing back as like a classic summer camp film with like a lot of Mandalorian vibes as a side story, and people wanted it to be Rogue One with all the cool. I mean, there was a lot of cool stuff in there, man. They had X-wings, and Sigourney Weaver was in this movie, and
sort of.
I mean, sure. Okay, she plays a character that's not in it a lot. You know how expensive she is as an actress?
I'm not. You're not wrong.
I don't know. I get what they were trying to do. It was,
and I think they mostly succeeded. Like, I just think the problem is like this kind of movie, like this style of movie, has become short form TV now. And so then when you make it as a movie, people are like, but I watched this on Netflix. Like, these are, this doesn't feel like a cinema experience.
I actually think that it is a good reset for people's minds, man. The expectation that everything going forward in Star Wars either conforms exactly to some sort of mythic thing that can't be made, and therefore everything else is a disappointment, or it's trash.
I want to be completely clear. I think for Star Wars, movies like this are good. I don't want to be like complaining because of the Star Wars end of it. I just think like as a script and as the movie that was made, to me, that project made more sense as a TV show. Not that like Star Wars shouldn't have things like this. Things like this in Star Wars are great, actually.
Yeah. I think that a lot of people would listen to me and be like, he doesn't know anything about blah, 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 blah. And it's like, buddy, I get it. Like, the movie was written backwards, where they picked what they wanted to do and then filled in a bunch of stuff to make it work. Like, we had to bring back the Razor Crest because Rotta the Hutt was in the movie and there was no spaceship we could put him in.
Yeah, when are you going to fit Rotta the Hutt in the N1 or whatever? Like, that thing is barely fits the Mando and Grogu.
So could we have come up with something else cool? Yeah, we could have. But you know what they already had? Assets for the Razor Crest.
Right. And it's a fun callback to the thing on the show. And like, you know, and it works, right? Like why, you know,
it's also like a good spot for people that watched the other stuff. And I wonder a lot of people complaining about it didn't watch the other stuff. Cause
sure, like how many of these people were watching the like 14 animated shows out there or whatever, right?
So like Zeb, you know, the character that's in a bunch of the movie, they're gonna all probably complain about how Zeb was all CGI and whatever. And I was like, I wasn't losing it over how, you know, it was great to have Zeb back, but it was like I leaned over and told, you know, my wife, I was like, this character is from another show. It's really cool that he's back because, you know, you got to see Ahsoka and Harrison Dula from that show, but you never saw this guy basically. So he's back. And then there's Embo. He's like a dude that's been around since the Clone Wars. So he's still around and working for the Hutts. There's a lot of little tiny pieces of franchises that have been pieces of other parts of the Star Wars franchise that people that are like kind of deep in the lore of it were probably excited to see in this movie. And like,
are all of those Dave Filoni franchises? This is a genuine question because I haven't watched most of these shows.
You're probably right. Yeah, you're probably right. Mm-hmm. Rotta the Hutt was around early on when they talk about him being a baby.
Oh, was he? I thought that was an invention for this movie. That was a thing from before.
Oh no, man! Rotta the Hutt's been around before too. I think. I think Anakin and Ahsoka saved him in the Clone Wars when he was kidnapped.
Okay.
I don't know. Remember like every detail about everything. Like I'm sure a lot of people do, but I remember this tiny little tadpole hut thing from the Clone Wars. I'm pretty sure that was Rotta the Hutt.
Okay. And see, I didn't even know that, and it didn't matter because it was fine.
Because they wrote it well enough that it didn't matter. You know, I don't know. Is it silly? Is it silly that Rotta the Hutt wants to be his own man, get away from Jabba and all that sort of stuff, and that's what the story is about? Yeah, it's pretty silly. Does it matter? The Mandalorian was pretty silly half the time.
Yeah, like, you know. Also, that's like a classic movie story, right? Like, child wants to be their own person and strike out from their parents or whatever. Like, this is a classic tale. Like, you know,
I think people expected. They wanted Mando's fight the whole galaxy, and we do another Rogue One with Mandalorians or something. I think that's what people wanted. Mythical people. I don't know, but if you just Google the movie, it's just negative. Everything's just negative, and I don't understand why.
Yeah,
I don't understand why.
Again, I saw it. I thought I had a great time. I don't think I had a great time. I had a great time. You know, it was totally fine. It didn't like knock my socks off. I would say I was hyped at the appropriate level, and it met those. You know.
Yeah.
I didn't go in with like super high expectations.
Yeah. I hope he can't hear us, Michael, because we're in the middle of talking about something you probably don't want spoiled.
I finally make it in just in time to.
Unless you manage to go see The Mandalorian and Grogu over the weekend.
Oh, I wish, but no, sadly not.
Yeah. Yeah. It was. I would say my summary of it is it was for me a really cool romp through a lot of fun backstory of other franchises alongside The Mandalorian, but it was just, you know, it was the side story, and that's the extent of how crazy it got. Also, JJ, the tiny spaceship.
Yes. The very funny. That whole
How
thing.
do you feel about having comic relief in this movie? We can talk around this pretty easily without spoiling it. But like Grogu kind of provides well, Grogu always has provided comic relief to the Mandalorian, right?
Yes.
Just having the baby do stupid things like eat the ship or whatever.
eat the frogs or whatever.
So he does some of that stuff again. That's not going to be a surprise to anybody, where he's in the middle of a serious conversation and Grogu's trying to steal the chips off the table from Sigourney Weaver or whatever.
Right. Yeah, and she's like, no, and takes them back.
Yeah. There's additional comic relief.
Yeah, sure is.
Okay.
Did we need it? Was that what people are complaining about? That type of stuff? Or was it just like, I don't know. I think back to original Star Wars and you've got annoying C-3PO running through every scene going, oh no.
I don't have an issue with it. Like, there's weird joke aliens in literally every Star Wars movie, I think. This didn't feel particularly different. These exact aliens were in other Star Wars movies serving this exact purpose, I think.
Unfortunately, right? I think for our argument here, I think they're from the newer Star Wars movies.
I didn't say they were good movies. I mean,
okay, to reach forward and backward, right?
Even all the way back to the original trilogy, Yoda had his moments of just like being silly old man in the swamp, right? Before Luke knew who he was.
Yeah, sure. He's like hitting R2-D2 with the cane or whatever.
Right, yeah, exactly.
Was he spinning around in the air one time or something?
Yes, at some point he was.
Yeah, I mean...
when Luke was trying to float him, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I think
it is a movie that is very easy to nitpick at.
Yeah, and I expressed some of that on here, right? Like I told you, Andy, Michael, I think my opinion was the movie was totally fine. I had a good time. Like it was technically competent, well made. There was even like a couple of really cool parts in the filmmaking that I thought were awesome. And I don't know why they don't advertise them, because it was awesome.
Oh, did you catch that in the pit fight? What all the monsters were?
Is it something I should know?
Djarik. The hollow chess.
Oh, I did note that a couple of them were from the hollow chess thing. Yeah,
all of them were monsters from Djarik.
Oh, so they're all like monsters from the hollow chess thing. That's cool.
Yes, yeah,
it's cool. So I noticed the big one that was, and I was like, oh, that's the guy from the hollow chess thing. I didn't note that all of them were.
So every single one of them was from hollow chess. So there were so many instances where if you're like seriously kind of just paying attention to the movie, like everything's a callback or a reference in a good way, you know. I don't get the negativity. I don't get it.
Yeah, and like I said to you, Andy, I think my number one complaint is this felt like it should have just been a season of TV.
Yeah, I heard another complaint that it was like for kids, and I watched the first 20 minutes. I'm like, this is not for kids.
yeah, I don't get the kids vibe. There were a lot of kids at my screening, though. By the way.
Yeah, I mean there were small children at mine as well. I would not have brought mine to this.
But yeah,
they're not ready.
You know, it was a good time.
I think if people wanted us to talk more about exact parts of it, they should ask us to somewhere, because this is a mini episode.
Yeah, I could probably send that to podcast@weweregamers.com.
Michael coming in clutch here at the end.
No, got to do my wrap up.
We appreciate that you made it.
Yay, it's working.
Yay. I was just going to log in to check that it actually let me sign in and connect, so I didn't have to go through this next week.
Thanks, Windows.
Thanks, Discord.
I say update Discord while you're in here, because there's probably 4 million updates for that thing, too.
I'm sure there are.
Oh, boy. Well, we'll talk to you next week.
Sounds good.
This is the way.
We'll be tarps off next week.